Okay, Shalom, Shalom, Kwame Sha'Allah, Koholomla, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Chachadash, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and that by the Spirit taught us His beautiful truth. Just want to say the water to all the Akim and Ahwaf that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai to the best of their ability. This is Shachanan Awach. Just coming at you with another quick lesson and praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And just wanted to go off into a dream that I had. Was just kind of decide on whether or not to actually tell it. But Spirit was like, oh, well, you just go ahead. You know what I'm saying? Because, there are some brothers that, can interpret dreams, and they have that ability or that gift. That's their gift. And a lot of the times I can, But the dream started off, I was standing on my neighbor's porch and we was looking up. I looked up first because I seen like some drones. It was like 5 or 6 of them, like they looked normal size in the sky. But as they came down, them shits was like the size of like tanks. And they was like on the, they was literally like flying street level, like a car moving, but they was floating off the ground. And they only flew up the middle of my block, and they started on the other side of the street with the neighbors. And it was like a arm ejection kind of reached out and was snatching off like the front part of the house, or snatching off like the windows and snatching off the doors. And so they done rolled all the way up the block. It's like, I don't know, maybe, like I said, 5 or 6 of them, whatever, but they got this block covered. So all of a sudden my oldest brother is in the dream, which I never dream about him, but I have dreams every night. If you've ever heard me talk about in videos, you know what I'm saying, or even the beloved brother Allah, he know that I speak on it quite a bit. Like I sleep about 2 hours and then I abruptly wake up from a dream, sleep about 2 hours, abruptly wake up from another dream, and I always remember all of them. And it never happened to me like that until I came into this truth. I never had dreams. I never remembered dreams. I used to sleep so soundly because when I first came in this truth, I was kind of a little pissed that I couldn't sleep no more. But, over time, I got used to it, and it's just like, that's just my thing. I don't sleep like that. I dream and I wake up hungry because I don't know what I'm doing in the dreams that make me so hungry, because I'll be, I just be starving when I get up. I get so much energy be pulled from me from them, and I grind my teeth so hard. But this particular dream, it was like when those drones came down and they were street level. And again, they was like the size of the houses on our block. Almost, I would have to say they was really large. They was, I remember the metal and the iron of them. It was like this super thick metallic iron that they were made out of. And these big guys was getting out of them, like 8 foot, 9 foot maybe. But they had on like some super suits, so to speak. And so they were snatching off the front windows and doors of the houses across the street. And again, my oldest brother, he was in the dream, and he told me, he was like, well, just open the doors and leave the doors open and basically welcome them. So I'm standing in the center of the house. I'm looking, left to my left and to my right. And, I can see through the front door all the way open. I can see all the way through the back door. The door was open because it was at night. It was dark. And I'm in the house and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. I'm like, yeah, they got to be coming. They got to be coming. I never thought of running out the back door. I just kind of figured, if they was in the front, then they had to be in the back. And then it took me back to another dream that I had years ago about chariots that I seen in the skies. And then it took me back to another dream that I had a couple of years ago. I had like 4 or 5 dreams going on years and numeric orders going back years, where it just kept taking me back to these dreams that I had before. One, I was on a ship. 2 of them, I was on a ship. But it just kept taking me back to that time. Matter of fact, it was another dream as well now that's coming to mind. But it's only been since I've been in this truth. But now now it's interacting with these other dreams that I had too. But when this finally, this being, he came into the house I never turned around to look, and he kind of just he grabbed me from behind, and he had like a syringe, what appeared to be a syringe with a blue water in it, like some crystal blue water, like some real nice water, you know, like those beaches from off those really nice islands. And I didn't feel like a prick or anything like that, but from my understanding in the dream, like he injected that water within me, and it was kind of like I kind of I fell asleep, well, not fell asleep, but I kind of, you know, not necessarily got dizzy. I dozed, but I could remember in the dream trying to fake it too, like, you know, I'm gonna fake this shit, I'm gonna wait, you know what I'm saying, and trying to wait it out and make him think that I felt this, whatever, and I'm just gonna, you know, but it, actually what happened was, it was kind of like, I can't even explain. Only way I can explain it was like I was like a baby, and I fell into his arms, and he was just cradling me, and I can just remember how comfortable I felt, like how at ease I felt. I felt really at ease and very, very comfortable. And so once I started to come to myself, I noticed what was in between my knuckles. All three of my knuckles. You know how you got 4 knuckles, but in between it's like 3 spots. And in between those 3 spots, it was like these 3 little pin marks. And I can remember that. And so I looked down at my foot, and my foot had this it had like a sore on it. And it was a sore that was kind of like it was peeled up, so to speak. My skin was peeled up, and I was scared as shit. And I'm like, shit, what the fuck is that? And then all of a sudden, it started to turn into wheat bread. And I heard, you know, from behind me, like, because you ate the different bread, you're going to be okay from all this. And everybody else that was in the dream, it was like they was fucked up. It was like, because they didn't eat the bread. And I can remember in the dream, like, I ate some bread somewhere, but the way that it was mentioned to me, it was like, you ate the different bread. And I was like, what do you mean different bread? You know, I'm thinking in the dream, but that's what I heard. And I'm thinking like, well, yeah, I did eat some different bread, you know, but everybody else that didn't eat the bread, it was like their feet was all swollen, and they couldn't fit their shoes, and they was, you know, all fucked up. But I remember the doors being open, and my oldest brother was like, well, just let them, you know, come on in. You know what I'm saying? Because they tearing off the damn doors and stuff anyway. You can see that clearly we can't stop them from coming in. You know, and I never did see my brother no more in the dream. It was just something that he said. And but that was the dream, man, overall. And I was scared at first, but once that, it was like my foot, that whatever it was on my foot, it turned into wheat bread. And the bread, I flexed my foot and the bread broke off, and my feet turned back to normal. It was just the one foot. Everything happened on my right side, and it was just the one foot. And I can remember, you know, hearing in my right ear, it was in my right ear that he said, well, because you've eaten the different bread, you're going to be okay from this. Everything is going to be all right with you. But everybody else that I can see in that dream, they wasn't right, man. It was something that just wasn't right about them. So, you know, that's just me just explaining a dream. Very, very vivid. I wish I could, you know, I wish, you know, you could just display out of your mind exactly what you've seen. Because, you know, when people be listening to you, it's kind of like, well, what, you know, they kind of put their own thing to it, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. Not their own thing, but, you know, they imagine the story the way that they're telling it, only with their own imagination. But these drones, but like I said, they look like drones in the sky. But once they came down lower, they wasn't drones. They was like, shit, I'm trying to think something I can, it kind of looked like, I could say it kind of looked like, the only thing that I can really compare it to would be like not the shape that a Cybertruck is, but the metallic metal of it looked like a Cybertruck, like that silver one that you normally would see. But it was square. It didn't have no angles to it. It was almost like a, you know, like generally when you know, you have like iPods and you pop it out of the iPod box. They kind of look like an iPod box. something like that. But it was more of a square, curved off square. But them shits is big as shit. And they was they was snatching the fucking windows and doors off of the houses across the street from me and stuff like that. And there was multiple ones on the block. I couldn't see to my right down the block from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just knew that there was a bunch of them on the block. Because, you know, when they whiffed down, the wind of the trees, you know, it was just like, I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? The neighbor, I never seen the neighbor no more. He wasn't even in the dream no more. Because we was on the porch, on his porch together before everything when I seen him. And he was like, "Oh shit!" But man, hey, it was a dream, man. That I know I won't be forgetting this one. I didn't forget it anyway, but I normally don't forget the dreams. I kind of just wake up. But that one made me lay there a little bit longer. I laid down a little bit longer, just sitting there meditating on it. Like, okay, well, what is this? What could it mean? You know, but you know, I kind of figured in the dream, you know, the water that was injected into me, I kind of felt like it was the word, you know, it had to do with the scriptures. And the bread that was on my foot, that, you know, and he said, you know, because you've eaten of the different bread, you're going to be okay. Everything is going to be all right with you. And I just kind of figured, you know, just the bread and water of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you know, that's just what I got out of it. Now, you know, other brothers, like I said, they may be, I know it's other brothers that's more skilled in interpreting dreams and stuff like that, you know, and visions and stuff like that. Because like I said, I have them every night. I just don't be talking about them. I don't tell them. And I was skeptical about telling this one, but the spirit was like, oh, we'll just do, you know, hit record and tell the vision, you know, so to speak. But I felt secure. I felt at ease. I felt comforted because whatever this being was, he was holding me. He was just like a damn baby. He's holding me like a baby. And I, like I said, I never looked back. All I know is, you know, tall as shit. You know, it was completely black, you know. And that was pretty much what it was with the dream, man, you know. But like I said, when I'm looking at everybody else, I'm like, damn, what's wrong with y'all feet? They couldn't get their feet in their shoes. Whatever it was, I don't know, maybe they had to do with the walk, because it was uncomfortable for them to walk. But when, you know, that bread, that wheat bread, it was like wheat bread on my foot. It shed off and my foot turned back to normal. And that's when whatever it was said, you know, I believe it was the spirit, you know what I'm saying? In the dream I did, well, because you ate of this different bread. And then I remember that specifically, it said different bread, because you ate of this different bread, you know. Which is, you know, when it comes to the scriptures, that's a different bread, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, people eat bread. You can eat the bread of life, or you can eat the bread of death. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, again, it was just something that was on my spirit. I just wanted to just get it out of my spirit real quick there and tell it, because, you know, again, you know, some brother may hear it and may know exactly what it means, man. So with that, pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwame Yashala and a Bible Ball.